What would you do if the woman you loved, the one you built a life with, had a secret tattoo hidden from you that screamed another man's name? I never thought I would be asking myself that question, not about Sarah. The night everything broke was a Tuesday. 2 a.m., the soft glow of her phone screen illuminating the betrayal. She was asleep beside me, or so I thought, her phone buzzing with a message from a contact simply labeled work, but the message preview. A fleeting glimpse before the screen went dark wasn't about work. It was a heart emoji, followed by can't wait for our next meeting. My blood ran cold, a silent scream trapped in my throat. My wife, my beautiful Sarah, was seeing someone else. The mystery of Jay was just beginning to unravel. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel, tell us where you're from, what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. The humiliation hit me first, a tidal wave of nausea that threatened to drown me. Sarah, my Sarah, the woman I'd sworn to cherish, was a stranger. The work contact was a flimsy veil, easily seen through by a husband whose gut was now screaming. For weeks, I'd noticed the subtle shifts, late nights at the office, a new perfume, an almost imperceptible distance in her touch. I dismissed them as stress, as the natural ebb and flow of a decade-long marriage. How foolish I had been. The strange behavior escalated. Her phone, once left carelessly on the counter, was now always face down, always within reach. She'd disappear into the bathroom for extended periods, whispering into the receiver, claiming it was her sister, but the hushed tones and nervous glances told a different story. Receipts for expensive dinners at places we'd never been, tucked away in her purse, started appearing. A small, elegant box from Tiffany & Co. in her closet, not for me, not for her mother, but for some unknown recipient. Each discovery was a fresh stab, twisting the knife deeper into my already bleeding heart. I started my slow, agonizing descent into detective work. I installed a discreet app on her phone, a silent observer. The texts poured in, a sickening stream of endearments and illicit plans. Jay was Jason, a senior partner at her law firm, a man I'd met once at a company picnic, all slick charm and predatory eyes. Their rendezvous points were always the same: the Standard Hotel downtown, a quiet booth at the dimly lit The Velvet Lounge on Sunset Boulevard, or his luxury apartment in Santa Monica. Each location, each time stamp, each whispered promise was meticulously logged in my mind, a growing dossier of betrayal. Sarah, meanwhile, transformed. The warm, loving woman I married was replaced by a cold, manipulative stranger. Eyes, once full of affection, now held a calculating glint. She'd pick fights over trivial matters, twisting my words, making me feel like the problem. "You're being paranoid, Mark," she'd sneer, her voice dripping with disdain, when I dared to question her late arrivals. "Maybe you're just insecure." She made me doubt my sanity, gaslighting me with such practiced ease that for a moment I almost believed her. Jason, the smug bastard, seemed to revel in his conquest. I saw them once, by chance, at a coffee shop in Beverly Hills. He had his hand on her lower back, a possessive gesture, and she was laughing, a genuine, unrestrained laugh I hadn't heard from her in months. They looked untouchable, basking in their illicit glow, while I stood in the shadows, a ghost in my own life. The emotional breakdown was inevitable. I spent nights staring at the ceiling, the silence of our bedroom amplifying the screams in my head. The man who was once loyal, a rock for his family, was now a shattered mess. I lost weight, my eyes perpetually shadowed, my work suffering. My friends noticed, but I offered vague excuses, unable to articulate the raw, festering wound inside me. I cried silently into my pillow, the tears a bitter testament to a love that had died a brutal death. But amidst the despair, a cold, hard resolve began to form. This wasn't just about pain anymore. This was about justice. This was about revenge. My transformation from broken husband to strategic avenger was slow, deliberate. I started gathering proof not just for my own sanity, but for the legal and social traps I was meticulously setting. I hired a private investigator, a grizzled ex-cop named Frank, who operated out of a nondescript office in downtown Los Angeles. Frank's reports were damning. Photos of Sarah and Jason entering and leaving hotels, video footage of their intimate dinners, recordings of their hushed conversations, the secret tattoo, the one with Jason's initials subtly woven into a floral design on her lower back, was captured in a blurry but undeniable photograph. It was the ultimate insult, a permanent mark of her infidelity, hidden in plain sight. I consulted with a divorce attorney, a sharp, no-nonsense woman named Ms. Davies, who specialized in high-asset cases. She outlined the legal battlefield, the financial implications, the custody battles. I wanted everything. Wanted her ruined. The traps were set. Legally, Ms. Davies filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences, but I held back the damning evidence. Socially, I began to subtly plant seeds of doubt among our mutual friends. Casual remarks about Sarah's new demanding work schedule and her unusual secrecy. I knew the gossip mill would churn, slowly but surely. The real masterpiece, however, was the public exposure. Sarah was up for a major promotion at her firm, a partnership that would solidify her career and reputation. The firm was hosting a lavish gala at the Biltmore Hotel, a black-tie event where the new partners would be announced. This was my stage. The night of the gala arrived, a glittering facade of success and ambition. Sarah, radiant in a sapphire gown, stood beside Jason, both of them exuding an air of triumph. They believed they had one. They believed they were untouchable. As the CEO began his speech, preparing to announce the new partners, I made my move. A discreet email, sent from an anonymous account, landed in the inboxes of every board member, every senior partner, every prominent journalist covering the event. Attached was a meticulously compiled dossier. The photos, the videos, the receipts, the detailed timeline of their affair, and the undeniable image of Sarah's secret tattoo, Jason's initials glaringly obvious within the design. The email also contained a link to a private blog I had created, detailing my emotional journey, my discovery, and the cold, hard facts of their betrayal. Chaos erupted. Ghosts erupted, phones buzzed, whispers turned into gasps. And then, a stunned silence fell over the ballroom as the images flashed across screens, projected onto the very walls of the Biltmore. Sarah's face, once beaming, drained of all color. Jason, pale and sweating, tried to disappear into the crowd. The CEO, his face a mask of fury, cut his speech short. Sarah was publicly humiliated, her career aspirations shattered, her reputation irrevocably tarnished. The firm, valuing its image above all else, swiftly announced her immediate termination and Jason's indefinite leave. The social fallout was immediate and brutal. Friends turned their backs, whispers followed her everywhere, and the legal battle, now armed with irrefutable evidence, became a swift, decisive victory for me. She lost everything: her career, her social standing, and a significant portion of her assets. I saw her once more, months later, in a coffee shop in downtown Los Angeles, a ghost of her former self. Her eyes, once so vibrant, were dull and defeated. She was alone, nursing a lukewarm coffee, the arrogance replaced by a hollow emptiness. I walked past her, a stranger in the crowd, and she didn't even notice me. The revenge was complete, but there was no triumph, no joy, only a quiet, haunting emptiness. The silence of a ruined life echoes louder than any scream. The end.